For the 2-year-old fillies, just half a dozen to come up the straight. The two race Godolphin horses are prominent in the market. Kin, who was second at its debut run here for Jamie Carr, is our $2.70 favourite as it stands. Latizia for Kieran Murray and Dave Eustace, the first of their debutants, almost shading it for favouritism. They've swapped prices a little bit this morning, but Latizia at $2.80 and then out to Lambda, the second of the debutants at $5.50. But Kin is our $2.70 favourite, and the runners are in the yard for the first race of 2022.
This mounting yard is brought to you by Lexus, principal partner of the Victoria Racing Club.
The New Year Sprint over 1,000 metres. It is racing for brunch here at Flemington today. Frost Flowers winning this race last year for Jamie Carr and Anthony and Sam Freedman, defeating Taylor's Moment and I Am Enchanting. Godolphin trying to get it done here, but under the James Cummings banner, they have two raced fillies presenting here who come out of the 2-year-old handicap back on the 11th of December. The first of them is Kin, who was second on that occasion.
It was a good performance, wasn't it? And the advantage that, of course, they have, the pair from the James Cummings yard, is the fact they've had that race experience. And Kin was what sort of defied the market of the pair that ran on debut. The market wasn't as keen on Kin, but was a touch unlucky when in amongst runners and not clear till late. So she was excellent, natural improvement. You'd think she's got the measure of her stablemate based on that effort.
Warren Huntley in the mounting yard for us on New Year's Day. Warren, how is Kin handling these hot and humid conditions?
At this stage, handling them quite well. Hutch, Nige, she was up on her toe and had some spring in her step on debut, and she's been a little bit the same. This is only her second lap of the mounting yard that she's commencing now. She looks fit and healthy, lovely in the coat. She's a real nice scopy tile of filly, and she's keen to get on with it. I'd say, if anything, she's just improved a bit. She just bounces a little bit there. Looking forward to seeing her run again. She looks great.
Damien Oliver is on the other Godolphin runner, Varvia, who was third in the race, won by Stupendo here 3 weeks ago. Hutch, the market supported Varvia over Kin on that occasion.
Yeah, and I think you have to respect that to an extent. I mean, Varvia seemed to have every opportunity, but she did face the breeze the whole way, and they all improve at different rates, don't they? So she's, look, there wasn't a great deal between them. She's a $9 chance today as opposed to being a lot shorter last start. I wouldn't be shocked if she came on and managed to win it today.
She's a bit more of a solid type than her stablemate and a little bit more relaxed, although she is carrying the red earmuffs. Another one who's come through that debut run well. She's just a bit more of a nuggety type.
First of our 4 debutants is Hoops, who was $190,000 Magic Millions Gold Coast purchase last year. The first foal for an unraced daughter of Savabeel, a 3/4 sister to New Zealand Group 2 winner Splurge.
They haven't really got a bad word to say about any of the newcomers. They've all gone pretty well. You've got Danny O'Brien teaming up with Craig Williams. Obviously a nice bred, a well-bred individual. The jump out seemed to be quite nice as well, or pleasing. And Hoops is coming in for a little bit of support from a longer price, so I wouldn't be shocked. It looks as though there'll be improvement to come, but that's only natural.
Quite a bit of strength both in front and behind the saddle for a young girl. She's quite compact, but she's quite nuggety also, with some good strength and carrying a little bit of condition, as you would expect. Not totally screwed down for her first day at the races, but looks good.
4 Incorporation was passed in for $60,000 at last year's Inglis Melbourne Premier Sale. She's a half to Shelby 66, who's been placed in 10 of her 16 starts to date for New South Wales trainer Danny Williams.
Look, I think Incorporation, I've gone with this just at the price. I think they've all jumped out well. And I noted in the early markets she was about $14. I thought she sat back. She looked professional. She looked fast in her most recent trial. And, I thought at the odds, more than happy to go with her. Obviously not with a big stable, inverted commas, but I think she can run. And Shane Fleetner can do a great job with his stable as well. And I think she might be over the odds potentially.
She's quite a leggy, athletic type, and she does look forward for her debut, coping well with the conditions.
5 Lambda fetched $200,000 at the English Classic sale last year. She's the second foal for former Group 2 8-carat Classic winner Capella, who was also 4th in a New Zealand derby.
Yeah, the good thing about her is that she's got that natural pace based on what we saw in her jump out with obviously Team Hawks, and no doubt will be very well educated and no doubt run very well. Like I said, I can't really knock any of them because they've all gone pretty well in their work, and this is another one of them.
She's probably the most relaxed of any of them in the yard. She hasn't turned her hair since she's got into the mounting yard, and she's got quite a bit of strength about her for a young filly, and coping very well with her first day at the races.
The Mar Eustace filly here is Latizia, this daughter of Capitalist. Damn Spanish Pipedream was trained by Wesley Ward and a dual-listed winner in the States before running fourth at Royal Ascot in the Queen Mary Stakes.
Yeah, out of a Scat Daddy mess. It's real speed on speed here, being by Capitalists as well, and we've seen that progeny go particularly well, haven't they? He's doing a nice job as a sire in the early days of that role. But look, she's gone very well. She looks fast. Her work's been highly pleasing, and I'm not surprised that she's well in commission. She is easy in the market, though, so I'd suggest if you do like her, maybe wait a little bit longer. You could get a better price.
Another one who's got a bit of strength about her. She's been a little bit playful without getting worked up in the mounting yard. Probably still a little bit new to it. Carries the red earmuffs, but not doing anything wrong.
Latizia, the highest price to the four debutants at $475,000 at last year's Magic Millions Gold Coast sale. Hutch, can you start 2022 with a winner? A difficult task with a batch of lightly and unraced fillies.
Yeah, well, I hope I can, because if I do, I'll be well rewarded for it with incorporation, $13. She is the outsider of the field. She's Hoops is a touch shorter, so yeah. Look, I liked her work. I just think that she was pretty professional, and I saw enough there at the price. It's a price-based selection. I think of the others, Latizia, Kin, obviously with the race experience, and Vavir even at $10, probably do worse than that. I went 4-6-1-2. I think any one of them could win, though, Warren.
I'm with you, Hutch. I wouldn't put a negative on any of them. I thought Kin, who we saw on debut, she got some spring in her step as well and may have just tightened up a fraction. I've made number one Kin pick of the yard. Of the debutants, I thought Lambda, number 5, was the one that was just doing everything right, probably the most relaxed. But I wouldn't be negative on any of them, making number one Kin pick of the yard.
Right, let's have a look at the markets here for the opening race. And I can let you know that with Sportsbet, we have a 260 favourite with number one Ken. Of course, Jamie Carr on board for James Cummings. A little bit of an ease in the market. 270 to 310 is the price for Latizia, and Lambda at 550 is also on the ease, but probably found its ceiling at the moment. The rest of them double figures. Vavir is $10, $12 for Hoops, who's coming for some support, and incorporation $14 as well. But firm favourite here is Kin for James Cummings and Jamie Carr, looking to kick off 2022 in the perfect manner.
Trainer Danny O'Brien joins us. Happy New Year, Danny.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
How was New Year's Eve?
Yeah, pretty quiet.
Very quiet, as it seems to have been through most of the racing industry, given we've got such an early start here. What can you tell us about Hoops' daughter of Tavachi?
Look, she's a filly that's trialled a couple of times and handled the trials really well, and we thought that there was no reason not to bring her to the races today. It'd be a good experience for her. She's handled herself well in the parade, and it'd really be about education today, but we expect her to show something.
Again, she's unraced, but we get a little bit of a line on the two Godolphin fillies in the race through, of course, your Flemington winner a few weeks ago, and Stupendo. How does Stupendo and Hoops line up, if you can at all?
Look, he would be more forward than her, I would think.
What do you make of horses being able to handle these oppressive conditions at their first start as well? Are you happy with how she paraded?
Yeah, look, she paraded really well. I think, the early start's been a really good move. I don't think it's too oppressive now, and I'm hopeful that we can get the whole meeting run and won before it gets too hot.
What are we going to see from her from the jump? Is she speedy from the gates?
She'd be quick enough, but I imagine Craig would like to get behind something, so she's got something to follow.
I'll let you go find some shade. Thanks.
All right, there we have it. Danny O'Brien with Hoops. And, yeah, I just thought this was an interesting race. It was really hard to work out, Warren, because, as I've said earlier, all of those that are new have all sort of shown a bit of potential in their work, and it's hard to know sort of what's left. The two of the race brigade, both from James Cummings' stable, shown good ability. I wouldn't be surprised if RV turned the tables on Kin, to be honest. There's a big difference in the market, but there wasn't that much between them on debut.
No, and the difference in the market was reversed when they were on debut.
Yeah.
That Varvia, there was more expectation, and horses can take so much from the first day of the races. It may be a positive that those horses have both had a look at the straight course, but really it's impossible to have a firm opinion about this race, because, as you said, all of the horses have shown something in their lead-in, and from my perspective in the mounting yard, there wasn't one of them that you thought isn't parading the way you would like them to. The two that had come to the races previously, the Godolphin stablemates, looked to have come through that race well and trained on, and the debutants weren't doing anything wrong.
Pretty well. I mean, we only saw patches of it, Warren, but for 2-year-olds, they seemed pretty well behaved from what we saw.
Perhaps the fact that it was all fillies, there was no colts in there getting a little bit stirred up, maybe that's a factor as well, but the girls were very well behaved.
There we have it, a couple of minutes out. Just to let you know about the market, Nigel, there's no major push. There's really hasn't been a lot of action in the market from probably 10 minutes ago. It looks like it's a wait and see.
Yeah, it's an interesting composition of the field. Of course, we're 2 weeks away from the Magic Millions on the Gold Coast. You'd imagine you need to see something fairly jaw-dropping from Latizia or Hoops to justify a trip north in a fortnight's time for either of those camps. But as we mentioned, Frost Flowers was the winner of this race last year and didn't prove to be a really strong form race in terms of being a factor for, of course, the Blue Diamond and other races from a 2-year-old perspective as the summer unfolded.
Well, there's no certainties, as we know, in racing, but the Mara and Eustace team and the ownership group behind Latizia would certainly have a good handle on the level of opposition they're likely to get the Magic Millions on the Gold Coast with Coolangatta already up there.
Yeah, it's a valid point, Warren. She does look like she's got that race at her mercy in a couple of weeks' time, and I think we may not see her campaign in Victoria by the sounds of it, from the way the stable have sort of been conversing so far, that it sounds like the Magic Millions and then perhaps a break, all going well out of Queensland for a tilt at the Golden Slipper looks to be perhaps her preferred path. But Latizia might be the tip of the iceberg perhaps in terms of their contenders who can stay in Victoria and contest the Blue Diamond and the many other good 2-year-old races on the menu as well.
Looks like Ryder's just jumped off Latizia at the moment, so not sure if they're just going to load her up imminently or not, but Ryder has just jumped off Johnny Allen. There he is over the far side there, so didn't really see any particular reason why, but I don't think they'll be too far off starting to load up here, 45 seconds out.
She does, she's loaded into the barriers with a stallion chain, and she was one of the horses wearing the pre-race earmuffs. So maybe the barriers just haven't been the best part of her early education, and with the stallion chain leading her in that way, then I think we'd see Johnny Allen just wait for her to get into the barriers and then get aboard.
Worth mentioning, you can jump on the VRC website as well. They've got a great track map with all their meteorological data, including the wind tracker on there as well. But wind certainly not a factor at this stage of the day here at Flemington. For the first time in 2022, let's join Matt Hill for his call of the New Year's Plate.
So Hoops coming along now. Terrific, Nigel. Happy New Year to everybody. They're getting set well for our opener here at Flemington. Good 4 rail in the 6-metre position, and very warm conditions prevailing indeed. So the last of them getting set down there as we see Lambda about to join the line. Lambda goes in and the field is locked away for our opener. Field is locked away. Set now, gates are back and away, and from barrier number 2, Varvia jumped away well with Kin on the outside, and also showing a little bit of speed was Hoops. Out wider on the track, Latizia, so 4 across the track in the early part of the race. They were followed by Lambda, and at the end of the field, Incorporation, heading towards the course proper now with approximately 700 metres to go. It is Varvia leading Kin, Latizia out deeper, followed by Hoops, as Latizia's just brought towards about 4 or 5 off the inside running rail, given plenty of air, and they were followed by Lambda and Incorporation. So with 300 metres to go, it's Latizia with over on the far side Varvia. Now Kin showed her hand, and on the outside of her is Hoops. It's Latizia letting down at the 200 metres from Varvia, and they were followed by Kin. A gap in the field then to Lambda, but Latizia hands and heels. 100 metres to go, is going really well and is going to slide away. Latizia won the first comfortably in the end by about a length and a half. Varvia, Kin, and then Lambda next in the field, second last in the race, Hoops, and at the end was Incorporation.
Well, Clint Hutchin mentioned it when assessing the breeding of Latizia in the mounting yard, that being out of Scat Daddy on the dam side, it was absolutely speed on speed, and she showed that on her debut there with a very impressive win under the riding of John Allen, who of course was wearing those colours here a couple of months ago to win the VRC Derby aboard Hitotsu. He was happy to place her out in her own space, 4 or 5 off the fence, and when he asked for the smallest of efforts, she was there to respond, and in the end it was a pretty soft victory on the line. 6-2, 1 and 5, so the 2 Godolphin runners once again fill the podium places in silver and bronze, but it's a flip from Kin second, Varvia third on debut here 3 weeks ago. On this occasion, it's Varvia having the better of Kin, and Lambda looked to finish off okay into fourth there. But the story and the thing to carry forward from this race is the 6, Latizia.
Yeah, it defied a drift in the betting. Not a massive drift, as I said. There wasn't a whole lot of action, but it was co-favourite about half an hour before the first, and then at to $2.90 on the tote, and the VOP will be $3.10. But Warren, if you had something on Latizia, you were confident a long way from home. She travelled better than anything from the get-go. He had a lot of horse underneath him, and without the race experience, she's obviously been particularly well educated, but she really controlled that race from the outset.
Basically did it all on her own too. There seemed to be an intent or a hope that back near the inside, particularly with Kin maybe trying to get some cover, but there wasn't any horse that really wanted to oblige and put a margin on the field, so they almost came down the straight together, and then when the effort went in and the horses were asked to quicken, it was Latizia that showed the best acceleration and then put that gap on the field. Won by a length and a half, short half head between second and third, but thought doing it all on her own, wandering down the middle of the track and accelerating nicely when asked. Plenty of merit in that win.
Mar Eustace and Jay Allen Nigel kicks off 2022. It's got a familiar ring to it.
Yeah, New Year, same dominance for the Mar Eustace camp. Dave Eustace joins us. Dave, Happy New Year. That's a cracking way to start.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too. Yeah, look, it was great. We were sort of reasonably confident that she had good ability and she trialled up well. But big thank you to Lucy and the team at Cranbourne. She's not the easiest filly, and she's been a little bit cantankerous at times. And Julian Welsh done a bit of work with her as well with the gate. So all credit to them. They've done a terrific job with her.
We know you've got a pretty speedy one in those colours in Coolangatta, who's set to tackle the Magic Millions in a fortnight's time. Letizia's come out of the same sale. Is there any temptation to send her north as well, or are there targets down here for her?
Look, it'll be discussed, and it was sort of discussed pre-race as well, but I would say she more than likely stay here and focus on the Blue Diamond and get some black type, and probably the 2-week turnaround might be a bit quick, but yeah, as you say, it's a very similar ownership. Credit to Ozzy and his team. They keep putting plenty in, and Newgate bred her, and SF Bloodstock stayed in as well. So it's a really good crew. Greg Mitchell's here as well, amongst others. So we'll enjoy today. Hope she pulls up well, and we can make a firmer plan.
Yeah, winner before midday on New Year's Day is a nice way to start 2022. Just quickly, we'll get a chance to chat to you a little bit later on, but you must be really happy with the entire team you bring to the races today, with particularly a two-pronged attack in both of the listed features.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a lovely team in, and as you say, nice chances later on. So hopefully it's not the first time I'm talking to you.
I'm sure it won't be. Well done.
Cheers.
Yep, she's certainly very fast, and well under the connections. They forked out a little bit for her, 475k to be exact, Warren, but a little rocket. She really jumped beautifully. She knew her job well, and I don't think there was that much pressure early. The Godolphin pair were in second and third, but she jumped pretty well, and Johnny Allen really, don't know if he necessarily wanted to lead Warren. She was a touch keen through the first probably 4 or 5 strides, but she got into a good rhythm pretty quickly thereafter, and yeah, she just made every post a winner.
Struggling to find a horse that you think wants to lead, or a rider that wants to lead, watching that vision, very much just holding them together, pretty gentle early down the straight. So probably Johnny Allen, as much as anything, just allowing Latizia to stride to some extent, but not wanting to necessarily press forward and then cross back to the inside. So holding that perhaps close to a length advantage at that stage, but with Hoops and Kin and Varvia back to the inside, all in a line, just holding that margin, but tracking a straight course. So after looking a bit new in the first 100 metres or so, she showed really good tractability, and then when it became a race and they started to quicken, I think she showed good acceleration, Hutch.
She ran a 10.5, I think, from the 4 to the 200 according to the sectionals that we put up, and it's amazing that none of them want to lead early, actually, because it's a very sedate first 200 or 300 metres. She's led throughout, never a bad thing, I don't think, doing that role, and it's not like any of them get cover anyway. But anyway, that was wouldn't worry Johnny Allen, and he's managed to boot home a winner to kick off 2022, and it won't be too long before he'll be joining us. 58.21 was the time for the opening race, off a pretty steady first little 300 metres, I thought, of the race. But gee, when they put the foot down, they showed really good acceleration late in that contest. Anyway, here's Johnny.
John Allen's just had a chance to have a drink and refresh after getting the first winner of 2022 here in town on Latizia. John, First of all, you had a chance to walk the track pre-race and now ride on it. Imagine there's enough irrigation in the surface that it's playing really fairly.
Yeah, look, Liam always does a super job at the track area. Always turns it out in tip-top condition, and no different today.
When we spoke last night after you had a winner at the Valley to round out 2021, you said there was a quiet night and a little bit of wasting. I imagine there was a little glint in the eye about this filly coming here today, and she's met your expectations.
Yeah, look, it's my first time actually sitting on her, but there was high wraps on her from the stable, and proved that way. Look, she was very professional. The plan was actually to take a sit in her, but she began well and nothing kind of pressed forward, so just left her getting the rhythm. And yeah, look, I like the way she dug in even the last 100 yards and probably pulled away from me getting late, so good win.
Look forward to seeing where she and you go going forward from here. Well done.
Oh, super, thank you.
John Allen starts 2022 with a win on Latizia. There's certainly a filly to follow for the Blue Diamond and races to come throughout the Melbourne summer as well. Time for a break here on racing.com, but after this, runners will be just about in the mounting yard looking forward to the second on New Year's Day.